Good morning. And before I get started, I'd just like to remind you guys of my movie, Master of the Game, at my website, www.voyagerstraight.com. Also, my book, The Road to Paradise, is on there that you could purchase. But I want to get into something today that's quite provocative. And being that it's Sunday, I think that it's a great topic to speak about. I want to ask a question. What do you think gave birth to religion? Now think about that. When God says in the beginning that He wanted man to be fruitful and multiply, do you think that His intent, His purpose was to have mankind with a gang of religions throughout the world? Or do you think that He wanted to have mankind with a bunch of families throughout the world? So, my question to you was, what gave birth to religion? Well, family gave birth to religion. What came first? Did religion come before family, or did family come before religion? You see, God is smart. He knew that religion is a divider, and that family is a uniter. He understood that if man created a bunch of religions, that men would be divided. But family has an incredible connecting ability to it. So you could violate a law, a religious law, and they'll ostracize you. But you could have a serial killer that has killed hundreds of people, and his mama will stand up for him and say, "Y'all leave that boy alone. He ain't done nothing to nobody. That's my baby." Only family can do that. Religion constantly tries to duplicate family to no avail. So I want to say to you today that man in his most perfect state is through his family. His most perfect state. Man with religion is man on a descending scale, not in his most perfect state. So if I had a church and a man brought his family to me and he came to me for counsel, I would explain to him that the most perfect state that you could be in God's eye is first through your family. It doesn't matter if you're a deacon in the church, if you're a bishop in the church, that will never be your most perfect state. Your most perfect state will always and only be through your family. Because remember, that was God's original purpose. For man to multiply, to create families all over the earth. So what I would tell that man is, no matter how many times you come to my church, no matter how much you give to my church. That will not make you have your most perfect state. But it's how you govern the family that God has given you that will determine your most perfect state in the eyes of God. So let me say this to my brothers who may have thought, because you have been told this through the church, that in order for you to be pleasing in the eyes of God, you have to come to church. But I reject that. I am telling you, young black man, if you want to please God, and if you want to be at your most perfect state that you could be in, it will be governing your family, young man. Understand that. I don't care what no preacher tells you. I don't care if they try to convince you that you need to be there in order to be in the graces of man's perfect state. I also wanted to talk about a real touchy area that churches probably don't really like talking about today, and nobody has given an answer to the lesbian and gay community of where they stand. Somebody asked me, do you think that gay people love God? I told them that I would never, ever say that somebody who is gay don't love God. I would never say somebody who is a pimp don't love God. I would never say that someone who's a prostitute don't love God. A drug dealer don't love God. I would never utter those words out of my mouth. But what I will say is that they don't love him like he requires to be loved. You see, the predicate is not based upon how you want to love God. Because if the predicate was based upon how you want to love God, I wouldn't have to change. I could just stay being a pimp. The predicate in the relationship is based upon how he requires to be loved. In other words, you could be married and your wife every weekend goes out to the clubs and she have sex with other men throughout the weekend. And her friends ask her, girl, don't your husband care about you having sex with other men? And if she says, well, girl, my husband loves me. He's not worried about what I'm doing with nobody else because he loves me. Well, that's not love at all. Because that's love without any expectation, any requirements. So you can't just do what you want to do in the relationship that you might have or want with God. It is predicated upon how he wants to be loved. As a man, if I had a woman like that, I'd understand that wasn't love at all. There's no expectations in a relationship like that if I don't require anything from her. I require to be loved a certain kind of way. And so does God. So understand, you might indeed love him, but you don't love him the way he requires to be loved. There's a requirement in the relationship that he has. It's not based upon how you want to love him. It's based upon how he wants to be loved. In the following months, I'll be getting into a lot of provocative taboo subjects. Stay tuned, because it's going to get very interesting. Again, Make sure you visit my website, gorgeousray.com. There's a lot of interesting things on there for you. Have a wonderful day.